All right, we are live, guys. What is up? The Roundtable has moved over to the Bluebloods, probably headed to C.F.L. next week, man. I'm pumped for that. But as you know, man, we, we got all script, we got C.F.L., we got myself, the Bluebloods, and we are here to recap everything from this weekend. And we're kicking it off with the Southern Heritage Classic. Jackson State gets a big win over Tennessee State. So, CFL, I'm going to start with you as people start kind of coming in here. What is your main takeaways from Jackson State's win this weekend over Tennessee State?
Okay, so defense, love the energy, love the relentlessness, love that they swarm into the ball carrier. But the initial, like I said, the initial tackling has to be better. It's not getting talked about because they're doing so well and they're stopping these teams at such a good rate. But at some point, they're going to come up against the wrong guy who has the ball. And if you don't make that initial tackle, all those tackles for loss that they could have had are going to end up in big plays because for some reason, they just aren't technically sound with tackling. So that's something they do need to work on. As for the offense, I love that Shedeur is spreading the wealth now. He's not just targeting Trevonte Rucker or Joshua Lanier. Keith Corbin, you're keeping him happy. You're giving him some touches. Warren Newman is getting things going in the seams. You got to keep feeding him. So I love that he's spreading the wealth around, but they do need to get that run game going. Peyton Pickett is so good catching out of the backfield, and it's needed, right? But he has no patience as a runner, and that is hurting him. It's like he gets the ball and he just runs up the middle every time. You don't try and wait for something to open up. That's going to hurt you. You need a running game. You do need a running game. So if it's me, if he does not get it going against ULM or show some type of promise, you need to bring in one of those other backs that you have on the roster and give him a chance.
If you're looking for him to get good against ULM, that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna just say that right now. That ain't gonna happen. I was about to push a bomb like this is my channel.
Hey, man, hey, you got free reign, man. Hit the bomb, hit whatever you need, man.
But no, man, listen, CFL, everything else, man, you are spot on, bro. I absolutely love the play calling. Just let the passing be an extension of the run with Shedeur. He has the IQ, he has the savvy. I mean, I went back and watched the game, the TV copy. I mean, no, I watched Cut Days, all his passes. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Shedeur's all his passes. His poise in the pocket is it's commendable because the number 9 got up the field and he just like slide. I mean, it's pretty. It's really, really pretty. So, man, God, it's just so nice, man. He rolled out, he hits it's stuff like that. That's one of my takeaways. Is Shedeur played amazing. You see his poise, you see his IQ level is through the roof. The offensive coordinator is calling a hell of a game. We talked about it a little off camera, me and CFL and Blue. We said that, they can't have teams going into halftime with hope. That if you're as dominant as you say you are, it needs to be 24/7, 35-7, 21-7. I don't want you to have hope coming back at half like you was going to do something different and the game is going to change. Now let me go to Tennessee State. I want to talk about them a little bit. Their defense is nice. The defensive play calling in the first half was really, really, really good. Like, they had bracket coverages with the linebackers. They kept switching it up. I loved it. Their team, the defense to me, quit in the third quarter because they had no faith that the offense was ever going to do anything. It's like, bro, we're not the 2000 Ravens. We're getting tired. We're getting manhandled. We're fighting it out, but you're not doing anything. And I think that's the reason why they crumbled at the end. It was just like, yeah, whatever. And honestly, my last point is this. Does Eddie George really want to coach? Like, does he really? Like, I get that you're a figurehead and we all know that you are, but there has to be a passion that comes with it that even with all my critiques of Dion, you know he wants to be there. You know he wants to win. Go ahead, Steve.
You know what? I agree with you there. I look at Eddie George on the sideline and I see no emotion from him whatsoever. Now, that could just be his personality, but I doubt it because he loves the game of football too much. But it's like he's just so unresponsive to every mistake that they make. And I don't understand it. Like, coach, bro, show emotion. Get on somebody for messing up. And he doesn't do that. So I don't know what his deal is.
Man, I don't know, but Spotlight, man, you can jump in here, man. What were your takeaways of Jackson State's win this weekend, man? Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
You on that CFL today. You on that CFL today.
Oh, man. Oh, did you get there?
Yeah, just hit him up in the private.
Or the O-line from like Tennessee State. What'd you say?
You're good. You're good. Go ahead, Spotlight. You're good now.
Okay, yeah. I was just saying, I'm not sure if Jackson State's defensive line was just killing, or the offensive line of Tennessee State was just kind of trash. So like in our group chat, like during the game, even like prior to the game, I think C.F.L was talking about how big the O-line was for Tennessee State. That seemed like that didn't even matter, because every time I happened to like look up, because I was busy all weekend, I just seen like quarterbacks getting body slammed left and right. And they kept on switching like back and forth, but it seemed like the defense of Jackson State is the real deal. I really don't see, and even at Glass now, I don't see anything happening. I don't see them doing anything, honestly, because they have like no defense. So I think Jackson State is going to go pretty much unbeaten in the SWAC, man.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, we'll definitely get to that in a minute. I mean, my main takeaways were I felt like the interior of the defensive line played so much better than they did last week. Coinus Miller and all those boys on the inside, they stopped over pursuing, they manned their gaps, and they manhandled the center and the two guards for Tennessee State. I mean, they were every play, they were in the backfield sometimes even before the handoff was given. It was amazing to watch. And if they can continue that, I think their potential goes to the roof. And the other thing was just Shador being able to spread the ball around. Like you said, the playmaking, like for Shador, he like I said on our preview, he just has to be Rajon Rondo. I don't need you to go out there and score 30 points a game. Just get me the assist, get the ball to Lanier, get the ball to Rucker, get the ball to Newman. And I thought he did that perfectly. And I want to say this, I said it on both of my previews. Lanier is an absolute matchup nightmare, man. I mean, no matter what you put him on, he's either too fast for a big safety, he's way too fast for a linebacker, and then if you switch off on him coming across the middle, the switch can't be fast enough. I would love to see them stick Lanier solely in the slot and just make him almost, like I said on our recap, a safety net for Shador. When things break down, dump it to Lanier, and he's guaranteed to get you 8 to 10 almost every time he touches the ball.
Right.
Hey, that's a good point, Blue. I like that, and I watched the first half of the TV copy, and you can just see the technician of his routes, the technique, the leaning, the little chicken arm, the scramble drills. Getting open, finding space and sitting. I mean, he's there. He's there. As of right now, man, I when I see it, when I'm looking at it, I'm just like. To me, I'm gonna stick with this. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't win this game. You don't win a game against Jackson State. It's just that simple. If you don't have a quarterback, I don't care what you're talking about. And that's what I saw. Tennessee State didn't have no quarterback. I liked 8. Higbottom had the happy feet. I mean, looked like the penguin dancing. It just was crazy. It was everywhere. And real quick, while you in here, make sure you subscribe. All right. I don't even know how many people got. How many people got up in here, Blue?
We got 50 right now.
Every 50 of them should be subscribed. We try to get my man to 1,000K, baby.
Man, so we got to address this question. Do you think his weight will be a problem for his draft stock? I'm assuming he means Lanier.
Have you seen Devontae Smith? Have you seen Devontae Smith? That boy is like 140 soaking wet. What are you talking about?
I'm about to say he wouldn't weigh at the Senior Bowl, so we covered the Senior Bowl last year, and Devontae Smith declined to weigh on the scale because he thought getting on the scale would I guess lower his draft stock, because there were rumors at the Senior Bowl because he was hurt that he was only sitting about 150, 155.
Lanier got to be 145, 150 easy. I mean, and that's probably all in his like shoulder pads. I don't even know, if I'm being honest. Like he got like toothpicks for legs. I mean, but he does his thing. He does his thing. You know what I'm saying? So I as long as you're productive and you can run routes, there's going to be a quarterback in the league that can get you the ball. It's just that simple.
I agree. And I mean, for me too, the one thing I would critique about the red zone play calling for Jackson State is why in the world is Rucker and Wadman not utilized more in terms of jump ball situations? They're bigger than everyone on the field. Throw it up. Stop running up the middle 3 times. Give the guy a chance. You trust him in. They trust him in what 2nd and 10 to throw it up into double coverage, but you can't trust him in 1-on-1 on the red zone. Exactly. Where are the fade routes?
Man,
where are they?
I agree, bro. I agree. I'm over there sitting like I'm like, this is easy. This is fade route. I mean, that's what I would think. At least throw it twice, one on each side, see who can come up with it.
That's the one play calling. They call beautiful plays from the 20 to the 20. But as y'all know, offensive coordinators make that money in the red zone, and I think their red zone play calling's got to get just a little bit better. And I mean, that's just my opinion on that. And also, I like what C.F.L said. Why you have all this running back talent? Why is Pickett getting all the carries and everyone else not even seeing the field?
Thank you. No,
I mean,
I think somebody said in the comments that Tyson Alexander does come back this week from injury, right?
Ooh, that boy's
if Tyson comes back, because we saw what he did versus Grambling, give Tyson some carries. Feed him.
Yeah, I see it. And I mean, so Robert Bell here. I mean, I guess we don't have to get too far into it because I'm sure we're gonna have a roundtable for it. But just early takes on UL Monroe and Jackson State.
It's funny that you asked. I watched a little film today. Their D line is not small. They're quick. Listen, their DBs can run. Now Kentucky, they just fat. Like Kentucky is fat. Them boys in Kentucky.
I got you. Kentucky's legit this year. They might be better than Florida this year, to be completely honest with you. Them boys are legit. Wandale Robinson was the guy you're talking about on that one play. He's the transfer from Nebraska, and he is literally like a little Rondale Moore for them. And he's their Josh Lanier, pretty much.
Bro, listen. Them boys are flat out fast in Kentucky. And the reason I'm saying that is that their DBs were maybe 1 or 2 steps behind the guys from Kentucky. So I'm telling there's no burners like that at Jackson. I don't care what you want to talk about. There are no burners like that at Jackson State. Okay. Like Trevante Rucker, he's a great receiver. He's not a burner. Who else? Ala Brown, no, he doesn't play. Shane Hook's not a burner. Warren Newman, not a burner. Very shifty and quick, but not a burner. So what I'm saying is that these DBs have speed. These DBs have size. What it is to me, is going to be a lot of nuances like, hey, can we block this? Can we stop this? I think it's going to be a really well-coached game, if I'm being honest. I think it's going to be a really well-coached game. What do you guys see, CF?
So I watched that same film against Kentucky, right? They made some plays versus Kentucky. They made some plays at sometimes. They look good sometimes during that game. So this ain't finna be no cakewalk for them. But I will say this: no first half mistakes, no more fumbles. I would hope whoever that center is, Shador, is practicing with him and practice like, hey, when you snap the ball, try to get it right here instead of down here. I would hope they fixing that. The drops need to come down all the way, and they need to make sure they finish drives in the first half instead of leaving drives to the kicker, because we know he will miss 2 for every 1 he makes. All right. So I'll say that. And as for the defense, matter of fact, I will say this first. They have one burner, but he has not played yet. Remember Caleb Jolivet that they brought in from Sam Houston State, the track star? He runs like a 4.2. Depending on how he's looking, maybe give him a look out there to see if he can create some mismatch with a linebacker, because he's not being on the outside. He's way too small. But I think you need to get creative this game, because you have a chance to win it, but it's just not gonna be easy. So I think the coaching staff is gonna have to get a little bit more creative this game. And also, I need to see more shots being taken. I do need to see more shots being taken. You have okay, I'm tired of these. I'm glad he opened it up, but I'm tired of seeing these 10-yard stints, these 5 and 10-yard stints. Throw it downfield. Shador is proven.
No. Wait. I gotta. Let me counteract that real quick. People can't call him the Black Tom Brady and then expect him to be the Black Aaron Rodgers. It can't go that way. All right. Listen, the scheme that they have is take what the defense gives you. It's just that simple. Hey, they want to stop deep. We'll just take the 3 to 4 yards short. You want to take away the short? Hey, I'm gonna hit it right behind your head. That's all the scheme it really is, and he runs it to perfection. So I don't think you'll see the shot unless it's like 6'5" or Trevante Rucker with a jump ball, but you're not going to just see like, oh, okay, we're going to call a 90 go and we're just taking this shot at him. Now, I don't think you're going to see stuff like that, but y'all can finish it up.
I mean, so I agree like halfway. So one, you don't, and this is, I know ULM is not that good, but right now on top to bottom on paper, they're the best team Jackson State's faced this season. Let's just be honest, they are. But you don't want this game to be the game that you let Shedeur get uncomfortable, because you want to take shots, but you want to take smart shots. Just you don't want to just go out there and be like, we're going to run 4 verts and we're going to throw it to one of them. Like, what you want to do is you have to set up the play action for Shedeur, in my opinion. That's the exact same way Brady takes those deep shots. Is if Pickett can't get going early, the deep shots aren't going to be there. But if you could get Pickett going early, I know it's a big ask to get the run game, but I just don't think Shedeur is going to be able to take the deep shot unless they set up the play action against ULM. That's the key to me. And also, you don't want to change up your whole offense in the biggest game. Like, yes, you have to be a bit more aggressive because you're probably overmatched, but you can't be dumb with it, because what you're going to do is force Shedeur into bad situations. And then what happens when he throws his first pick or his second pick, or even get up to 3 interceptions? What's that confidence going to be looking like? Because we all love his poise right now, but let's be honest, has he been in danger of anything? Has he faced any adversity in 2 games?
Facts. That's good.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead, man.
So, like, what does a win against ULM mean for Jackson State? Because I see a lot of people who saying they need to move to this conference and like this conference. But if they actually win, like, what does that mean? Is that an actual win, or does that what does that mean?
Blue, you can take this one.
Okay, so I still think it's an impressive win, because I know them and UConn, I believe, are ranked 129 and 130 in the FBS this past year. They haven't won a game in like a season and a half or something like that. But anytime an FCS team beats an FBS team, it's a big win. And the key is how they do it. If they go out there and put it on them, and you're talking about a 10 to 15, 16-point win, A+ is all around for Jackson State. And also, I don't know how many people know this. I know some of the Facebook groups had this, but I'm in a lot of the FCS groups. The entire FCS world is rooting for Jackson State this weekend, because a win this weekend for Jackson State would set the record for the most FCS wins over FBS teams in a season already. So Jackson State has a lot on the line this weekend. And so even the North Dakota State fans and everything, and some of the other Facebook groups I'm in, absolutely are rooting for Jackson State this weekend, because they want to see this happen, because we've seen so many great FCS upsets this year. Jackson State winning over ULM would just be like the cherry on top this season for the FCS, to say, listen, we're tired of not just the SWAC, but the entire FCS being slept on. We're here to play, and that talent gap isn't as much as these average fans want to think.
That's dope, Blue. That's dope, Blue. See, that's why y'all need to subscribe. Stop playing with my man. Get this man at 1K.
Man.
I want to say one thing. C.F.L, you got something? Because I want to say one thing.
What did he ask? What does that mean for Jackson State?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. It means that the fans are going to be declaring that Jackson State needs to be in the SEC. So,
nobody don't know.
It's going to be a lot of
don't nobody want to hear that. All right, so my thing, and I don't think, and I know Blue listen, Blue touches on a lot of stuff when it comes to FBS, FCS. He's pretty much like the real nimble. He can duck back and forth. This is my thing. ULM sees 5 wide all the time. Okay, I want to be very clear when I'm saying this. 5 wide to them is not anything new. They deal with spread offenses consistently at a higher level than what Jackson State is running. So I want people to be very clear. When you play 5 wide in the SWAC, it throws people off because they don't have the depth of DBs to match with you. ULM, if I'm a coach at ULM, I have to recruit based off of how much spread I see. I remember when I played college football and my head coach's office said, you recruit speed or you'll end up catching it. Okay. So with the end of the matter, what I'm saying to you is don't be surprised if that 5 wide is not as successful as you've seen before, because if you watch the Kentucky game, which I know a lot of y'all didn't, because y'all just talking like ULM is trash. I know y'all didn't. That's why we got the round table for y'all, because we have. All right. They competed at a high level, not high enough to win, but they managed the game well with their 5 wide set. And Kentucky got some ballers at receiver. Listen to what I'm telling you. They got some studs at the receiver position. So I'm telling you, ULM is not going to be scared if Jackson State goes 5 wide. I just want to make that point.
Well, not even that, but let me just give y'all a perspective that I've been hearing, because every time I try to cover a game, I try to go to like these insider pages and see what the fan base is feeling for other places. Do you know how disrespected ULM feels right now that people think Jackson State's about to come in here and put 40 on them? Do you know how do you know how motivated ULM is going to be to say, y'all think this team is going to come in here and embarrass us at our house? They're gonna come with everything. I promise you. The ULM, Auburn overlooked Alabama State in the first quarter. Then it got serious. I promise you, ULM ain't overlooking Jackson State for a single second Saturday. That's the key. That's the key.
I agree with you, and I think that goes both ways. That motivation goes both ways, because here you have Jackson State, who's about to go up against an FBS opponent. Okay, they're hyped. They're feeling, they know they have the hype surrounding them. They want to go out and perform well, and they want to keep this thing going. They want to show that they can perform, because remember, they say, we didn't have to be here. We chose to come here. So that means you're implying that we could have been doing this on the FBS level. It's time to show it. And I think they're going to be motivated to do so. I think for some of those guys who have a chance to be in the NFL, this is a big game for them, just to show that they can do it against better talent than what they face on a weekly basis. So I do think that motivation goes both ways.
I like it.
Yeah. And I'll address this comment real quick. So Kendrick, Coach Simmons actually messaged me last night because there was some rumor going around somewhere that Jackson State was ranked. They are not ranked yet. Alabama A&M, Coach Maynard actually came at the polls today saying that it's disrespectful that no SWAC teams are ranked. But right now, their peak, if they win this weekend, I absolutely can see them sneaking into the back end of the top 25. I can see that happen. But the key for them is, and I had some comments on my post-game show today, if Jackson State realistically wants to slide to the FCS playoffs, Jackson State fans better be fans of Alabama A&M all season long, because you need Alabama A&M to be undefeated. You have to be undefeated if you expect to get to because they haven't, because their out of conference schedule is not strong enough to justify an at-large bid right now. Gotcha. Tennessee State and Delta State ain't moving the needle. Just going to be honest with you. That's a D2 team and the worst team in the OVC. Yeah, you have to root for FAMU, and you have to root for Alabama A&M to have the best possible record at the end of the season. And that is a fact.
Appreciate it, Blue.
Speaking of that, I think this is going to be the game where actually Coach Prime and Jackson State get their respect from everybody else. I saw like in the first, out of the first week, I think Jacksonville State lost, and people were saying Jackson State. So outside of the SWAC, nobody really knows about Jackson State, honestly. I mean, like people in the SWAC thing, like Coach Prime is doing all this and all that. But honestly, outside of that, like this little bubble in HBCU sports, nobody's really like watching that much. Yeah, people watching like this little show here and there, but nobody's really like they tuned in. So I think this is gonna give a bigger view for everybody, like not only the players, but also Coach Prime, to give him respect from everybody else in the country.
And Tyler, Jackson State, the poll that you were looking at that Coach Simmons found was one voter's poll who published it. I'm looking at the rankings. Kennesaw State's 24. Alabama A&M is at 29. Jackson State's at 30. Alabama A&M has 56 votes. Jackson State has 48. So they're right outside the top 25 in the official poll on the NCAA website. So it was just one voter had Jackson State in their top 25. So if they win this weekend, they're probably going to slide in. Same with Alabama A&M with a big win over Bethune this week, could also slide in.
I like it. What are we going to next?
Yep. So, okay, this is a perfect segment. I skipped one topic. We'll come back to it. But what are the biggest threats to Jackson State moving forward? I talked about it on my show already, so I'm gonna let y'all do it. So, Scotty, man, go ahead and kick it off for us.
Listen, it's 3 teams: Bethune, Alabama A&M, and Southern. Those are the only 3. No, I'm sorry. I'm taking Southern out. I'm going to go Alcorn. And the reason I'm going to go Alcorn is because Felix Harper is a quarterback. Now, Southern, the powerhouse. Like, y'all not going to like me for this one. I don't think that you have a quarterback. First of all, I don't think you have a quarterback good enough to beat Jackson State. Second of all, I don't think you have a receivers that scare Jackson State. So that's one. But Alabama A&M and Bethune-Cookman are my 2 biggest threats, and that's because Bethune is solid up front. Okay, let's not act. They are stout up in the trenches. Their quarterback play is all right, but they can hold their own in the trenches. And Alabama A&M, you already know why it's Alabama A&M, because they got that Manikill Glass number 4. That's it. That's all they got. That's all I got for you. What you got, C?
All right, so I genuinely just think it's Alabama A&M. Not to disrespect Bethune-Cookman, but because their quarterback play is iffy, I'm not too confident in them. Not to say that they can't beat Jackson State. I just don't see it happening. But Alabama A&M, you got the best quarterback in the SWAC. You got arguably the most explosive offense other than your own in the SWAC. So knowing what Akil does, knowing that he can really throw that thing, knowing that you got Juice Jenkins, D. Anderson, Fatim Ibrahim to worry about. If they don't handle that correctly, it's going to really diminish their confidence going into the rest of the season if they lose that game. So I think Alabama A&M is the biggest threat to Jackson State.
What you got, Spotlight?
I got two. I got Alabama A&M. So not only is this a big game for Alabama A&M, but it is also probably the biggest test for Glass. If he's going to get his stock up a little bit, this defense is the best he's going to see. Like, this is kind of like a SEC diet, kind of like a diet team for the SEC. Like, they got people from all over. So if he proves like he can dice up like this team, I feel like he can kind of get into like maybe like a free agent or get drafted like in like a late round. And my other one is going to be Alcorn. So this is kind of like a storybook thing, honestly. So that's the last game of the season. So depending on if like the Braves can win all the rest of their games. So this first game might have been a fluke because they haven't played in 2 years. And this will be like Felix Harper versus Sanders or whatever, like the old breed versus the new breed. And this is kind of be like who can kind of take the cake, because I'm not sure what's going to happen for like the rest of the season, but this could be kind of like the SWAC champ type of thing, because this is like going to be the last game of the season. So I know the storybook is going to be really, really, really big, and both of those fan bases are kind of like chomping like at the bit already. So I feel like this is kind of like that's going to be their other biggest test.
Oh, man. Let's just clear it out of the way. Alabama A&M absolutely is the one threat, because especially we were talking beforehand, Scotty, you said you had to get behind those safeties. Alabama A&M is the only team I have confidence that can go 5 wide and force those safeties into man-on-man coverage and can get behind them to test that back-end speed.
Yep.
And then I want to throw a sleeper in here for you guys. And I know everyone's clowning them this weekend. I'll tell you why people just didn't watch the game and they shouldn't clown them. Alabama State, I think, is a sleeper team that Jackson State could be looking over because the matchup is terrible for the Jackson State weaknesses. If they can get all their running backs healthy, that run game's going to be for real. And also, their defense is, in my opinion, right now, the best defense Jackson State's going to see from top to bottom is Alabama State this season. In terms of D-line, linebackers, and DBs, all of it put together, that Alabama State team's legit. Listen, Jaquez Payton embarrassed Auburn wide receivers the entire game yesterday. That they didn't complete a single pass on that kid from Jacksonville State that transferred. He was balling. He should have had a pick on Bo Nix, but he dropped it because it hit his knee. And then if they can get that run game going, the key here, though, is Ryan Nettles has to finally mature, man. Yes, this weekend, he looked like a deer in headlights. You have to be ready for that Jackson State team, but they have the secondary, man. They have 3 potential All-Americans in that back end of that defense, and then Bubba is hurt, but he should be back by the time they face Jackson State. And you've already got, I'm forgetting his name, I believe it's Clark, that defensive tackle
Clark, 92, that boy big as a house.
Exactly. Boy, so I'm really serious. I think Alabama State, that D-line, I think will be able to put the game on Shador, and that secondary is going to be able to match up pretty well across the board as well. And if Ryan Nettles and Ezra Gray can combine to have a game on offense, it is going to be a dogfight when those two teams match up.
All right, let me ask you a quick question, Blue, because I didn't watch the Auburn and Alabama State game. So 2 questions for you. 1, does Auburn run a official spread offense 4 or 5 wide? And 2, what did the D line look against Auburn's offensive line?
Okay, so right now with the new offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo for Auburn, we run a multiple system. So we'll have some schemes where we come up under center, but for the most part, we run like a 3 to 4 wide receiver set. But our like their D-line looked solid early, but the problem is, man, it's so hard to judge because Tank Bigsby, our running back, was voted the #1 running back by Pro Football Focus going into the season. And our 4-star freshman got in the game late. He averaged 18 yards per carry this weekend against Bama State. And the run game averaged 12 yards a carry for the entire game. But Auburn's leading the country in total yardage this year so far because we've had Akron and Bama State as our first 2 games. No test for Auburn, but that D-line was getting pressure on Nix. They were stunting, and that's the #1 thing I've been screaming someone to do to Jackson State. They were bringing D-ends around to the inside. Their linebackers were coming. They were dropping D-ends. If you can confuse that Jackson State offensive line, you're going to get to Shador, and I want to see what happens when he can't sit in the pocket and just dink and dunk down the field. I want to see what happens when you're in his face and you lay a few shots on him.
So this is, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it to you, see, and spotlight. The reason why I'm glad you picked that team, and I wouldn't have picked it based off offensively, because I'm just looking at it. I know Jackson State really, really relies on their defense heavily. Even though their offense is high level, the defense is what sets the tone. For me, Alabama State is a team that is okay with being down offensively because they know their team is a defensive team. I want to say that again. When you know you're the lifeline of your team, all right, you don't mind being down 7-10-0 because you know, hey, we're built for this. This is what we do. You see what I'm saying? So I feel as though Urshad Davis, Bubba, Christian, Natron, Jaquez, them boys know we're the team. That like we are the heart of this team, so we have to show up. It doesn't matter what the score is, doesn't matter what it looks like. We have to be great, and I think they love that, and they love taking that pressure on. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Also, Kendrick, he transferred from Jacksonville State. I had him on my show right after he transferred. It was mental health issues, and he just felt like for his mental health, a change in scenery was for the best. He was an All-American, so like it wasn't because he didn't have any playing time. He was a starter. He just said for his mental health, he felt like a change of scenery is different. But we got a question here from Imperial. He said, "What if A&M loses to Bethune this week? What happens to the SWAC East now?"
That is an East game. That's an East Division game. So they go up 1 on Alabama A&M, and that Bethune and Jackson State game now becomes a headliner because now if you beat Jackson State, you're 2-0 against the top 2 teams, and that Florida Classic is looking real nice right now. If that happens, listen, I'm gonna be in Florida Classic. If that's because now everything is setting up to where that Florida Classic is going to be the person who goes to the SWAC championship. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Unless FAMU wins and then they have the head-to-head with Jackson State, so they lost. But that Florida Classic becomes really important. So I won't listen. Any given Saturday you can lose. So I'm not going to say it's going to make Alabama look bad. We all know they can't stop a nosebleed, so we already know what it is. But I just think it makes the East very interesting. Very interesting. What you guys take on it?
You know what? I'm gonna piggyback off that. I think it's beneficial that nobody talks about Bethune-Cookman. I think it benefits them in a huge way because you don't have the pressure that comes with the hype with Jackson State. You don't have the expectations of, let's say, Alabama A&M's offense putting up 40 a game. Nobody talks about you, so there's no distractions to your team. You could focus. You could have all the motivation in the world, and you can really come out and shock the teams that you play. So I do think it benefits them, and I think that depending on how they play against Alabama A&M, they're gonna be real dangerous. They're gonna be real dangerous for Jackson State if they come out of that game victorious. I just think that us not talking about them and nobody not talking about them, it benefits them heavily.
So I guess I kind of think that that's more of a fan thing. I think that the fans aren't talking about them, but I think that the schools are actually like they are recognized because FAMU they gave Jackson State a humongous test, but Bethune been killing them for the last like 19 years. So I mean, it's just us. Like the teams like know what's going on because FAMU like they looked really good, and then Bethune looked good against the FBS team like that they played against. Like that was a pretty close game. So like they're not sneaking up on anybody. Then like they play smash mouth ball. So teams gonna have to like buckle their dang on chin strap so they're gonna get hit in the mouth every single play. Then all that looking cute stuff that ain't gonna really work. You got to actually tackle somebody. So I think they're not sneaking up on anybody. People will actually like see them coming.
Hey, do me a favor, Blue. Click on this dude D. Will's statement real quick, bro.
Where is it? I gotcha.
Hey, my guy, let me explain something to you. Bill Belichick coaches in the NFL. They are professionals. I shouldn't have to motivate somebody I pay millions of dollars to go win a game. So yes, he can sit back and chill because does your boss come to your job and yell at you every day to say, hey, send an email? No, I pay you to do that. Do your damn job. Okay. For young kids, you have to get them motivated to go out and win. Now, most kids, they're self-motivated, but some kids are not. Some kids, you have to put the foot up their ass. That's just what it is. So your statement is dumb. Stop that. It's dumb. All right. Now this is Blue's channel. So, but I will get, all right. I'm gonna get with you. That's stupid. All right.
Oh man. So now we gotta get to the topic. I know, Scotty, you covered it on your show just a little bit. We got to grade Shedor's performance. Everyone always wants a grade for some reason. He's the only player in the country. I cover Power 5, Group of 5, FCS. Nobody in the world cares about anybody's grade I give them except for Shedor. So Spotlight, go ahead, man. I'll let you start with this one.
So for this past game, I just kind of like look at the numbers like more so than the actual game. And I gotta give him a A. I gotta give him an A, man. Like it seemed like he was like real poised out there. He didn't turn the ball over. Like 3 touchdowns. Then they took him out even like kind of early, so he probably could have did like even more damage. So I gotta give him an A.
All right,
go ahead,
so
C.F.L.
I'm gonna give him an A. I'm gonna give him an A minus. 30 for 40, 362 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's great. Right. But there were a few times I look at the things that he didn't do. He was in the red zone once. He had Warren Newman in the corner of the end zone. He had Joshua Lanier, who could have walked in for a touchdown. And instead he decided to, I think he tried to run or he just dumped it off to somebody. You got to see that. That's what I go back to the first half mistakes. You have to take advantage of your opportunities, especially next week. And also the fumble, like I said, that is something that could really be fixed. And I don't know if they're working on it or not, but he needs to get that out the way because like it or not, that it is still a loss of downs. But aside from those two things, he played great. The way he avoided the pressure in the pocket, the way he took his time, made the pre-snap reads, and was doing well with it. His ball placement. I will always talk about his ball placement because almost every throw he made, the DB did not have a chance to make a play on it. I just love everything else about his game besides those two mistakes that he made in the first half. So I give him an A minus.
I give him a C. I mean, I'm already a hater, so I might as well just keep hating. That's how I feel. And y'all gonna label me what I might. Nah, real talk though. Listen, I gave him an A- in my post game, and after I went back and watched the game, I have to give him an A. Because Tennessee State wasn't bad, right? Like their D line was pretty legit, and they were getting they got. I don't want to say they weren't getting pressure, but they were getting in the backfield. I'll say they were getting in the backfield, and his demeanors. Lord have mercy. Excuse me. His demeanor while coming out the pocket was superb. So it always gave him an ability to make a play. That's all you need from a quarterback. From my point of view, is you avoid the rush and can you make a play? And Shedeur did it. I mean, superb. I mean, literally superb. So he missed a couple throws. He made a couple bad decisions. But overall, I have to upgrade it to an A. I have to just give him a flat out A.
Yeah, that's what I gave him. I mean, anytime you throw for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns with 0 turnovers, man, through the air, and for a freshman to have 2 consecutive games, especially the first one being against a legit secondary with no picks, you got to give him credit regardless of what type of offensive scheme they're running. And like I said, I'm not looking for him to do anything over the top. I don't need him to throw for 500 yards or, carry the offense on his back. But this weekend, they shut down the run, and he was still able to lead the offense down the field. So for me, it was his first big test on what happens when he doesn't have that running outlet. And for me, I thought he performed absolutely amazing. And so Mr. Moore wants us to grade Dante. I mean, Mr. Moore wants us to grade Nugget. So he said he gave him a C- this weekend.
Yeah, I gave him. I have to give him a what's it like when you're in elementary school, like an incomplete, like an I. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't listen. Nuggets. His resume is why people don't throw that way. Like, I mean, let's just call it what it is. His resume is so solidified that Bama's don't even try to throw that way. Like, what are we talking about? Now, do they have time to? Probably not. But on top of that, whenever they do have time, they are not looking that boy's way. So until he goes up against a quarterback not scared to challenge him, then it's going to be an eye for the rest of the season. Now, I know this. The SWAC voters are going to knock that against him because he doesn't get these same attempts like everybody else, like a Jaquez Payton did against Auburn, that these other corners get because they're not all world corners. I mean, Jaquez is good. Like, I'm not talking about Jaquez. I'm just talking about everybody else is going to get an opportunity to get picks or whatever because they get thrown at. Nugget doesn't get thrown at. But we shall see when the Alabama A&M game. And Coach Green, who's in your comments, we'll see how good Bethune-Cookman is when they go against Jackson State. See how good that quarterback is then, okay? Because he's not that good. You keep thinking he is, but he's not. All right, go ahead.
Oh, man. So I'll let C.F.L take this one first. Do you think James Houston is the best pass rusher in the SWAC?
I'm still going to give it to Jordan Lewis right now. But I think if James Houston keeps going at the rate that he's doing, yes, he will be the best pass rusher in the SWAC. Every time, it is a beautiful thing to watch James Houston get after the ball carrier because he plays like his hair is on fire, okay? Like the arm movements that he makes, he's not, like, even if you get contact on him, he's not going to stop. You know how you will see defensive linemen give up on the play if they don't make them, if their first move isn't successful. No, James going to keep going. There was one play he had during that game where he was completely out of the play and he chased the quarterback down and still forced the fumble. That is pursuit that you cannot teach. You have to want that. That's why I say if he keeps going the way that he's going, James Houston going to be the best in the SWAC and it ain't going to be no competition.
I disagree. It's going to be Niles Gaddy. Okay, like let's just call it what it is. Niles Gaddy is
such a troll, man. Oh my god,
the best SWAC pass rusher in the SWAC. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about right here? James Houston, really? James, the one with 6 sacks. That's what we're doing. Okay. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't get it. But whatever. Whatever.
Oh man, Spotlight. What you think, man?
Yeah, so I just feel like you can't like say somebody is the best off of like 2 games. Like a sample size is at least 3 games. So yeah, I mean if he keeps it up, so like consistency is what it's all about. I believe I think he's the the quarterback for the Prairie View. The first game he balled out, but like this like past game he didn't really like do anything. You know what I'm saying? So like to be like labeled the best at anything, you have to keep it going over and over and over again. So I mean, like he has the potential too, but Jordan Lewis has been kind of killing it for years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? So until somebody like dethrones him, it's still him.
Bro, I'm taking James Houston over Jordan Lewis any day. Any day.
Already?
I am too. I am too.
Not even a question, because I can show you more film of Jordan Lewis not being blocked, getting sacks, than I can show you James Houston ripping, pushing, hand. I mean, the dude is he didn't come from Florida for no reason. That's what, when you see a player like that and you see what he's doing, you're looking at him like, that's an FBS player who is showing you why I was at FBS and I'm gonna dominate you while I'm here. Jordan Lewis, I'm sorry, like he's great at what he does, and he's probably going to be a strong safety at the next level. He is not a DN. I'm not taking him over James Houston. It just doesn't make sense.
No, I don't.
No, so Jordan Lewis has done more in the SWAC. The ceiling for Houston is it's like another building. It's like you have a house and a skyscraper next to each other. Houston is a skyscraper. That's how high his ceiling is compared to Lewis as the edge rusher. And also he proved it on the highest level. And also the fact he was able to make a transition from linebacker to DN in less than a year just shows how versatile he can be as a playmaker. That's why, in my opinion, out of everyone on the defense, I think he could have some of the best NFL potential out of anybody because of his versatility and his experience at multiple levels. He proved it. He proved it in Florida. He was a starter. He was a key cog of that defense, which almost won an SEC championship, and now he's doing it at this level. Scouts are going to eat that up all day, every day. So I'm still I'm with Scotty here. I'm taking Houston, but just because of the potential. But we got this one. This was an interesting one. I want to hear what C.F.L. has to say, because Jackson State fans love them some C.F.L. So I need to hear what he's got to say about this one. ULM beats Jackson State by 17 or more. What is the narrative?
It's not going to be good. It's not. It is not going to be good. It is going to diminish so much progress that they have made, not only in the offseason, but up until this point now. They cannot lose by 17 plus. They just can't. You got too much talent from the FBS level. You got too many talent that you bet your house on your team right now, who started and still are in the FCS. So they can, like, I'm fine if y'all lose by 3, if y'all lose by 6, maybe even 10. You lose by 17, it's going to be detrimental to everything y'all were trying to build right now.
I feel like this. If you lose by more points than what UTEP beat Bethune, then what are we talking about? Because you're supposed to have better talent, and UTEP's supposed to be better than ULM. So what are we? I mean, like if we want to start comparing games, if Bethune can ride with UTEP, they were down a touchdown going into the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And they lose by 14, I think, or 17, or however much it was. If you lose by more than what Bethune lost to UTEP, you need to look in the mirror. You got to check yourself with more talent, with a better scheme, whatever you want to call it, with a worse team against a worse team. Oh man, we're going to have a long talk on my channel. C.F.L. might give you like an 8-minute video, and you might get you off the hook. No, we going 2.5 hours, and I want all that energy with the call-ins. I want all that energy. Go ahead, Spot. It's on you, or Blue.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess in my opinion, it seems like from what I've seen, it's just every time a team lose to a team that they were supposed to lose to, everybody finds a reason to like make it seem like that's okay. Because like when something got beat, like they got destroyed, everybody was like, oh, like, that's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Everybody just finds a reason to make it like be all right. So they're just, and then it seems like everybody just cares about the SWAC. Like they just want to win the SWAC title over anything. So they can lose 100-0 as long as they win the SWAC championship. Like nobody cares. So
Listen, 17 plus would be a tough look. I ain't even gonna front because like I like what he put at the end because what are the other like when you look at the Big Sky, they have 3 teams with FBS wins, and one of them was over a top 20 team in Washington on the road. I mean, what are we talking about at that point? I mean, and then Jacksonville State just got done running up into Florida State and taking them for a ride. You cannot lose to ULM by 17. Listen, I've said it. Me and Brandon had a whole episode about how Jackson State should win that game. If you lose by 17 plus, listen, I don't even know what to tell you. Like the whole season, even if you win the SWAC, I'm like, but how? What does that mean? Like, it's a bad look. I'd be pretty upset if I was Jackson State and lost by 17 to ULM.
Okay, real quick. Go ahead, Steve. Go see. Go.
It's going to be more detrimental to Jackson State than they think. All right, just for with the recruiting class that they had last year, there have been speculation that a lot of highly ranked recruits are on the bubble, just waiting to see how Jackson State plays against these FBS schools. So if you go out and you lose by 17, any chance you had at them boys, cut it because you're not getting them. So they need to go out and they need to be competitive versus ULM. It's going to hurt them in more ways than they think if they lose by 17 plus.
So Jordan put in the chat that they lost. Bethune and UTEP lost by 10. That's the measuring stick for me. I'm sorry, win or lose. That is that's the measuring stick for me. If Bethune, listen. Jackson State people love to brag and poke their chest out. We got the #1 FCS class. We're in the Power 5. We're over Kansas State. We're over Kentucky. We're over all them people. Like, yeah. Like, and bro, you lose. Jacksonville State just got whooped up on Florida State, and you lose to ULM, and you have the #1 FCS recruiting class. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it.
I got a question.
You better win.
Like, which matters more, to like beat this team like this Saturday, or win the SWAC like for the overall season? Which matters more?
For football aficionados, beating out of conference teams means a lot more. Well, actually, if we're being honest, this should be a foregone conclusion that Jackson State wins the SWAC championship if their talent matches up to what they're supposed to do. For being 100, they're supposed to beat ULM and they're supposed to win the SWAC. I don't care. I don't want to hear about, Southern plays them real tough and Alcorn is a great rival. No, you have the #1 FCS recruiting class. I heard that shit all off season. I don't want to hear no excuses that you couldn't beat these teams in the SWAC. And Dion made it very clear. Better catch me in the spring. All right. If I catch you in the fall, then what? Huh? Don't worry, I'll wait. Nah, bro, I'm not letting y'all have it. I'm gonna give y'all this work. So I'm gonna give you this work.
I like this comment. Luke said Jackson State's recruiting class was 44 spots ahead of ULM last year.
Okay.
And I was at the K-State game this Saturday. I texted you guys in the group message. Southern Illinois, who is another FCS team, came within 3 points of beating them this weekend in Kansas State.
Oh yeah. No, you lose.
Okay. Given Kansas State started quarterback went out when it was 14-0, and then they came back. But still, Kansas State defense backup quarterback should be able to beat Southern Illinois. Let's just be 100% honest here. But I'll address this one real quick before we get to some other comments. Who on JSU's roster would you want on Auburn?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Give me Nugget, and then clone Nugget again, and give me Nugget again, because our corners are terrible. We need some corners. And if you want to make a trade, listen, whatever Coach Prime wants, I'll give him whatever he wants for Coinus Miller to come back to Auburn. Give me my guy back. We need some defensive tackles. Yes, I did not want to lose Coinus, because I remember one of my friends went to high school with him, and I knew he was coming to Auburn before he announced his commitment. I was pumped. I was hyped, and then he left. So I would take Nugget and Coinus Miller because our offense is pretty good. Maybe I take Wadman, but honestly, those would probably be the three I'd pick, starting right now, because I want some guys with some eligibility left probably too. So I'll get those guys for like 2 years, and Wadman I'd have for 4, but you can keep everybody else. I'll take those 3 right now.
Hey, Blue, go to TJ's comment real quick. What happens if JSU wins by 17? You know what I'm gonna say? That's what you were supposed to do. I'm not giving you a cookie for something. Listen, you're supposed to win this game. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. Like, you can't make it make sense to me if you out here. That's like saying, great example, right? I got this Charger Hellcat 600 Hemi, and I get beat by a Honda Civic. Oh no, we not talking. I get gapped by a Honda Civic. I'm clowning you. You were supposed to win that game, man. Stop playing.
Oh man, I still give them. Okay, I still think it's impressive to go on the road and also like win this game by by almost 3 scores. I honestly would be pretty impressed, but it also depends on how 17 plus happens. I don't want it to be like a really close game and then like some late, craziness happens and they, run up the score late on them. If they go out there and dominate this game, as much as ULM is horrible, that's still a statement win for an FCS program, especially with all the history riding on it and all the pressure that's going to be on Jackson State going into this game this weekend.
I think it gives them tremendous confidence and a full head of steam going into Alabama A&M. And I think that's going to help their mindset greatly when they go into Alabama A&M and they face off against a Kiel Glass. Coming off a statement win that you have against a ULM where you beat them handedly for that defense.
I'm gonna have to change
no matter how good Alabama A&M's offense is, they not going to care. They aren't going to care.
Yeah, I might have to change my pick on that. If that happens, I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm gonna have to change my pick.
I think a win against them just proves that their defense is like the real deal. So I feel like no matter what happens, like the offense is gonna start slow once again, and the defense is gonna have to like keep them in the game. So I believe that a win against them, because it's gonna be like based off their defense, kind of like defense and the special teams, kind of like doing stuff for them. So.
I like it. Hey, JSU Tigers, I don't want your kicker. We got the number 1 kicker in the country right now, and we got the one committed for next class number 1 in the country. So we're good. Auburn's good on kickers. We got 2 number 1 recruits. We'll give you one of them.
Oh, man. I'll take a Pop Warner kicker before a Jackson State kicker.
So I want to address this one. It's not just Scotty that, likes to respond to this. I also do too. Listen, I'm a recruiting guy. When on paper, Jackson State has more talent than ULM right now. It's not just recruiting rankings, everything like that. Like, that was just a funny comment because they did rank almost 50 spots ahead of ULM. It's honestly, Jackson State right now, there's not one player on ULM's roster that's better than Nugget. That's potentially better than James Houston. That's better than Coyness Miller. That's even probably better than Shador. Honestly, looking at it right now, there's not. And you look at the wide receiving core, there's probably 4 wide receivers on Jackson State that should start on ULM right now.
Ooh.
It's not recruiting rankings. I promise you, I'm the first one. I love recruiting. But honestly, like I said, that's why y'all hated on me and Scotty all offseason, because we weren't buying the Shador hype based on that number next to his name. But now he's proved it on the field, and we're starting to buy in. Listen, Jackson State looks better right now than ULM does, and especially on both sides, paper and the field. And when you're 42 or whatever in the past 3 seasons, I got to still take Jackson State, who has more talent than you. So it's definitely not recruiting that is making me pick this. I promise you. And I'm sure C.F.L. and Scotty feel the same way.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. I mean, it's just that defense, man. It's listen. I promise you, if Jackson State did not have the defense that they have, I would probably pick against them a lot more because of the simple fact of there's always an opportunity, but other teams don't have a chance, man. I mean, they just literally do not have a chance. It's sad. Like, I be feeling bad for them. I'm like, damn, I know y'all just feeling sick right now because I feel sick for you. So,
so we got to get to this one. I'll let Spotlight kick it off. But how do you attack the Jackson State defense if you were? I believe he means if you were an O coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess I'll just kind of go off the game, like the first one against FAMU. Run the ball on them. That seemed like that was working. Run the ball, and that'll just kind of open up the pass. Run the ball on them. Like, if you can do anything with the run, because throwing the ball, you're probably gonna run into some dang on problems, because they got pretty much the best corners in the dang on SWAC, if not any other conference. Running the ball on them, like running the ball like right up their throats. Because FAMU kind of has some success against them. So, and then like they don't even have a dominant running back. So
Go ahead,
CF.
Honestly,
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm gonna
CF.
look at I'm gonna look at every weakness that I can exploit. I'm coming at Shiloh off rip through the passing game. I'm coming at Shiloh off rip. Prove to me that you can cover like your daddy. All right, which I really think you can. Cam, we know what he does in the run game. I want to see you cover as well. I'm gonna attack y'all. I'm not even looking at Nugget. I'm not looking at Nugget. I'm gonna attack y'all and I'm gonna go up tempo because we seen during that FAMU game, they, Punnett was getting going when they were up in tempo. The defensive line was getting tired. You couldn't sub nobody in. All that depth you got a defense, you ain't finna something on me. So I'm gonna keep the up tempo going. If I got a full threat quarterback, I'm gonna get him to try to. I'm gonna design some plays for him to try to get him going, and I'm gonna just keep the rest of your depth on the sideline and keep attacking the few weaknesses that you do have.
All right, so listen, when I tell you I've been racking my brain on this one, and it got so bad, I had to call my coach back in high school, and I just asked him what would you have done? Because I call him my offensive genius. Like he loves offense, and what we discussed was a lot of motion, because I got to know what you're in. We're coming up to the line early. I got to shifting motion in and out. I got to see what you're in. Secondly, a lot of rub routes. I'm gonna make you communicate. I'm gonna get you, having to make those adjustments in the middle of the field. And I'm going back what C.F.L. said. I am attacking your safeties all day long. If you want to go with that single high and you want to bring wherever Cam is at, whoever's my biggest guy is going to be on him. All right. So it's either going to be two ways you're going to play that. You're either going to have Shador play over the top of Cam to protect him and everybody else is manned up. So I just got to take my chances with that. Or you're going to play Shiloh to the field and then you're going to leave him one-on-one with Cam. And I'll take my matchup with that as well. Running the ball, if I have the line to do so, I will. If I do not, it's going to be a lot of screens. It's going to be a lot of running back screens, a lot of, it's gonna be a lot of screens because I want Coinus, I want Evans, I want them to attack because they're attackers. So I want you to come up the field. I'm gonna go right behind you, stuff like that. So yeah, Aubrey Miller, he gonna be attacking. Who else? James. They're all attackers. They love going downhill. So that would be my biggest thing: motion, rub routes, middle of the field, and you gotta take a shot. Even if this is even at Nugget. I would tell my quarterback, hey, we're going to go up. I'm going to put my backup receiver in. I'm going to tell him we're going to run a go route. I said, just throw it as far as you can. I don't care. I want Nugget to know we're willing to throw there. We might not ever go back there, but I want in the back of your mind to say, hey, I might have to cover. So that's it. But yeah, that's it.
No, and also all y'all had great points, but the aggression one is my number one thing. And I said that last week with Tennessee State. I didn't think they had the O-line to block Jackson State's D-line, but why didn't you run more delays? Why didn't you run more counters, more screens, plays that you get the D-line up the field and then you attack behind them? Because that was the key with FAMU is they got behind those creases, behind those D-linemen who were coming 5 yards up the field. Because the number one thing for them is all the D-linemen they have are pass rushers in their minds. They want to get up the field and make a play. If you can use that to your advantage, that's the number one thing. And I love what Scotty said was the motion. And I'm trying to remember the team who did it against Georgia a while back. They would sit in 5 wide and have their running back on the outside. They would motion him back into the backfield, and then they motion the slot guy across. That way you can see one, man on man, and also two, when you bring the slot guy across, you can get a favorable matchup on that near side. And so it's all about matchups with Jackson State. Get your best wide receiver in the slot, get Nugget off of him, get CJ Holmes off of him, and get them matched up on a safety. The more you spread Jackson State out, the better. Because if everyone's in tight, they're too fast for you to just have everyone in the box. If everyone's in the box and the safeties can come down, Shiloh's going to end up just absolutely murdering somebody if you let them just walk down and come down full speed. And also the key is your quarterback has to be a playmaker with his legs. When things break down in the pocket, he has to know in his head how to get that first down with his legs. And the one thing I haven't seen against Jackson State, You got to stay in third and manageable. If they catch you in 3rd and 11, your quarterback's done. If you can't stay consistently in 3rd and 3 or less, that way they don't know what you're doing and you can spread them out and open up the box to run. Yeah. You are absolutely going to have a whole problem against Jackson State. So those are my keys in terms of how I would attack the defense.
That is what's up.
Let's see. How many points can Alabama A&M score on Jackson State?
All right, so we're going to answer this one. Then we got to go to that week 2 recap real quick. All right. So
we'll jump to that.
My thing is, I don't believe that they're going to not hold. I believe Alabama is going to put up 30 on everybody, at least 30 on everybody. I don't care. At least that I think they're going to average 30 on everybody. So it's going to be 30 points easily. 28 might be the lowest you might see, but I promise you, Alabama is going to put 30 up on everybody. That's my thing.
I'm gonna say the same. Just because I just trust Akil Glass enough. I just trust his talent enough. Juice Jenkins and D. Anderson and the rest of those guys to get to 30, but it's not. They ain't getting to 53. They're not getting to 53 like they did in the last point. It's not happening.
I guess maybe I'm probably drinking up like I guess like on the juice a little too much, but I got about like 17. I got about 17 points against them. I just feel like the defensive line of Jackson State is like the actual truth. I don't know. I'm drinking on the Kool-Aid. I got 17.
Listen, I'll come back to you on that because I'll put money on that one. I don't know how much you want to bet on that one, but I would love to put some money on 17 because I would take that all day.
What?
17.
You look like a real genius. You're right, bro.
But hey,
if he's right, you need to go to Vegas right now because you got to get some money. I mean, the over/under, you got to bet the under on that one.
Well, I can't see it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I would say 30. I think one also what no one's talking about is like, yeah, the offensive line, this, offensive line, that. They have a run game and they have the best wide receiving core, in my opinion, in the SWAC. I understand that everyone loves Jackson State. Them boys in Alabama A&M are just as proven. Let's just be honest. And they have done it in the SWAC for multiple years. What no one's talking about is how creative is Connell Maynard's play calling.
Come
on. You don't think he's scheming right now? Listen, I would actually agree with Spotlight if this game was week 1. Because Jackson State would have the advantage because you had no film on that defense. But the fact that it's in October, you think Connell Maynard is just going to run his basic offense? I promise you he's going to have some wrinkles in that offense that are going to catch Jackson State off guard early. And I absolutely believe Alabama and A&M can at least put some points. And I'm not even getting into the defense. I understand the concern. But just strictly offense, there's no way Connell Maynard, who has averaged 40 points almost his whole career, is going to be held to anything less than 30.
I agree.
But let's get to this week 2 recap, man. So I guess the way to best do this is, what teams were you impressed with? Which were you not from this week in the SWAC?
I'll pop it off. Listen, Southern, I don't know what it's. I don't know what, and they're my pick out the West. Okay, and I stand on that. All right, but I don't know where to put them. Like, I don't know what I can. I don't know if it's going to be Bubble. I don't know if it's going to be Skeleton. I don't know if they're going to run the ball. I don't know if they're going to try to pass. There's no consistency with them. There's nothing I can just say, you know what, put 10 on black. Like, I know they're going to do this right. And it was for a long time their running game. I'm like, you know what? But when you're down 17-13, and don't get me wrong, okay, you came back and beat Miles 41-17 or whatever it was. But to me, it shouldn't even have been like that. So Southern is a question mark. I'm still riding with them in the West because I feel they're the most complete team in the West. But man, they gotta shore it up they just gotta shore up their offense. Like, I just gotta see some consistency on the offense. That's my pick.
I was hardly impressed with of any of these SWAC teams either. I mean, like you said, Miles College, it was really that competitive with them for as long as it was. No, sir. I can't. Like, it was just so many, and even FAMU with Fort Valley State. It's like, I'm not giving y'all props for that. Like you're supposed to win these games. So I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of how everyone played this week. I mean, it just wasn't a lot of meaningful games other than, Jackson State and Tennessee State, but it just wasn't much.
I gotta kind of go, like pretty much say the same thing. Like no team really kind of wowed me. Like, oh, like this is like a big win or anything like that. But I guess kind of looking at the scores, the team that kind of like let me down is Prairie View. Like they lost 40-9 versus Incarnate Word. Like, yeah, I mean, like I had a buddy go there, but if I didn't have a buddy go there, I would have never heard of that school ever. I've never heard of that damn school. So. Yeah, 40-9 is kind of like pretty bad.
Named Incarnate Word is embarrassing enough.
And I mean, I guess I'll slap the hornet's nest right before we get out of here. This is why scheduling reasonable FCS out of conference games is important, because how can you be impressed with anyone? I got the scores right here: 62-0 Alabama State loss, 34-7 win over Fort Valley State. I don't think anyone is putting a big check mark next to that. Bethune got beat 63-14 by a Group of 5 team in UCF. Grambling got shut out by Southern Miss 37-0. Baylor put up 66 on Texas Southern. Jackson State gets to win at Tennessee State. We're all impressed with that. Alcorn only won by 3 over Northwestern State, who was, I believe, a 3-win team last year. Southern beats a D2 team in Miles. And Incarnate World puts 40 on Prairie View. Who are you impressed with?
Nobody,
but
bro. Jackson State, but nobody.
I mean, it's almost like
being honest, Jackson State, everybody knew. We all knew they were going to win. So that wasn't even really, if I'm being honest, impressive. If we're being honest, you see what I'm saying? So we all knew they were going to win that game. And I'm not saying, because I know Jackson State fans in here, oh my God, Scott, if you would have lost, you'd have came for us. Yeah, you're damn right. But what I'm saying is that we all knew you guys are going to win. It's just, how was it going to look? That's all we wanted to see. But go ahead, Blue.
I mean, it's like really and truly, if I had to pick someone other than Jackson State, I'm impressed with Alabama State in the first quarter because they played really, really well early. But as we saw, the depth eventually caught up to them. But that's why like I get the money games are important, but instead of playing Miles, why don't we go play Sam Houston State or Jacksonville State or North Alabama or someone like that? Because guess what? I could take a close loss to a team like that because I know what they are.
Yeah.
Beating a D2 team does not prove anything about your football program.
Right.
Zero. And it's just, you have to do better. Grambling getting shut out by Southern Miss was probably my biggest disappointment. Like, I get Alabama State played a top 25 team on the road. Mm-hmm. And Troy is a very good team. Southern at least got 3. Southern Miss is a bottom of a conference Group of 5 team, and you couldn't get a field goal on them. And there were people who thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
Because Southern Miss was trash. Before the game, that's what I hate about these Facebook groups. These teams are trash before these teams play them. And then when they blow them out, it's like, oh, man, we're supposed to lose that game.
We're supposed to lose that game.
Like, come on, man. And I get it. Yeah. Incarnate World's been to the FCS playoffs, but they just beat arguably a top 4 team in one of the SWAC divisions by 40.
Whew.
By 40. And I get it. Grambling's defense did their thing, but you have to, man, Luke, get out of here. We are literally ranked in the top 25 as of today, so I need you to get out of the comments. You can't come for the Auburn Tigers. You need to stop it. But you see, Jacksonville State beats FSU. Why aren't you playing somebody worth a damn to get your name up?
Yeah. But
that's a whole nother live. Scotty's had that live. Scotty's got crucified for that. So shout out to him for taking the bullets for all the rest of us. But
I need 12 disciples. That's what I need. I need to.
But man, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on the show, man. Scotty, when do you I'll let you plug it because I know you kind of the schedule of all this.
I am live. Listen, you know how I do. I stay got a live. So we're going live to talk about should Deion Sanders go to Florida State. And you know, you guys are more than welcome to come on over, call in and get you guys, your shot at that. But yeah, so that's the conversation. Should Deion Sanders go to Florida State? And should Florida State be looking at Deion Sanders? That is the conversation today. And listen, people on here, bro, if my thumbnail says live show, it's a conversation, okay? If it says breaking news, it's a fact. All right, let's get it because you guys be, I mean, y'all be so emotional. It be killing me, like for real. Like y'all be like, oh my God, he's not going anywhere, Scotty. Like he's not going anywhere. Okay, if he's not going nowhere, then don't worry about it. All right.
Oh man.
But yeah, so hey man, hey, shout out to Blue for having us hold it down on here. Make sure you subscribe. We try and get my man's to 1K. Stop playing with him.
Appreciate y'all. But guys, in the bio right here, man, links to everyone's channel, man. Make sure to click if you ain't subscribed to all 4 of us, man. And listen, also go subscribe to Coach Simmons, man. I want to give him a shout out too, because that's one of our guys as well. So there's a bunch of channels out there. But guys, for Scotty, for CFL, for HBCU Spotlight, and myself, we are out for right now.